1. I'm from a country where the majority of the population live in high-rise buildings, and quite a lot of people keep pets. As a prevention, it's advised that pet owners pet-proof their windows to avoid any accidental falls. I'm part of multiple pet groups on Facebook, one of which is focused on stray cats in residential areas. One of the members shared an ad from a company that specializes in window treatments for pet-proofing. They are expensive, but all along pet owners have always found cheaper alternatives to pet-proof their windows, like DIY meshing, using plant creeper grid frames, etc. Then this Karen decided to rage in a comment and I responded. And it's verbatim, so please excuse the broken English from Karen. Also note, I'm in no way associated with that company. Yes, a very great advice to those with pets at home on high-rise flats and buildings like condo. The best advice there is for safety of pets. Some owners may not be affordable to get them. So, are there less budgets for such owners? That would be very generous of these mesh company, as not everyone can afford it. So, company, what do you suggest? I respond by saying, there are DIY kits that are low budget. Get those grids from Daisio or plastic mesh if windows already have grills. No grills can easily DIY with bars, curtain rods, or those insect meshes that can be bought from the shop. If there is a will, there is a way. Why are you seemingly angry at the mesh company for not having affordable pricing? They are a business after all. I'm not angry, it just has to keep showing many things can't afford. Just how many old ladies with cats that you know that live in rented houses? How many you personally have donated to help out? Listen, when you know nothing but good life, I suggest you bug off. Karen thinking I'm well-to-do with you know nothing but good life, when she knows nothing about me. I suggested cheaper alternatives. The OP is just sharing the company, nothing wrong, right? I myself won't be able to afford this expensive window mesh. And why are you angry at me now, telling me to bug off? I have helped and contributed when I could. She eventually replied, Isn't that what's saying? And by the way, just how many old folks have headphones? Most of them, I'd assume. They are 70 and 80 years above, yet they took time rounds to feed strays. I'm very confused. This post was about window meshing. Now you go on about old folks not having headphones and them feeding strays? Okay, and? Many people are aware and many are helping them. Even helping those who don't have Facebook. Like I said, I do what I can to help. Anyway, I'll just leave it here. You'll just start to reply with something unrelated. Yeah, I'll leave it there. It's like she doesn't know what to say, but absolutely must say something. I couldn't help myself when she replied again, but I've turned off notifications, so I don't have to see her further replies. Many? Many are aware, but many are helping. Who help? You? They can't afford if not even headphones. They don't go around texting or into a website. They're not savvy. So, I say like they can't afford. How many old folks have you helped? Say financially monthly to help feeding alone. Yeah, you don't. So don't try to be angel here. You know nothing. This was all in caps, by the way. You know nothing of the real world to these folks. By the way, just how old are you to be talking as though you have hard life? Okay, it's useless to text a goon. Karen thinks I'm some young'un who hasn't lived a life. I'm not a young person. You think I'm a youngster who hasn't lived a tough life. You're wrong. KK, bye. You're unhappy with the world? Fine. Don't take it out on me anymore. Nothing I say will change your mind because you don't think I do enough. You want to see my actual schedule helping people? Then you're satisfied? Okay, bye. I need to work, and then I need to help my fellow feeders. 2. I was thinking back on all the situations with Bibi, my mother-in-law, and there are 2 here I'd like to share. March 2017. My darling husband told me about this, as I wasn't home at the time. I was at work. A few weeks after the whole Valentine's Day incident, my husband was at home and Bibi showed up again. She was pounding on the door, screaming at it and demanding to be let in. My husband went to answer it, and she barged in and demanded to know where he was being kept. Mom, what are you talking about?
Tell Mommy. Where does she keep you? I know she's keeping you in here and you can't leave. Do you need help escaping from that witch?
Mom, you're not making any sense.
You're not answering your phone, and when I tried calling her, she didn't answer.
She's at work. She took an extra shift. I didn't know you called. My phone is on the charger in the bedroom.
Is she abusing you, baby? I can help you if you let me.
No?
So why won't she let you see me?
She doesn't let me do anything. She doesn't control me, and she's not abusive. Darling husband told me he had had enough by this point and asked her to leave, and sat back down on the couch to resume playing Call of Duty. What happened next had me physically gagging as he was telling me about it. She bounded over to him like a prancing deer and, sat in his lap and giggled. His mic was on, and his whole team could hear her as she pulled his head against her breasts and called him her good boy. The act surprised him so much, surprised anyone, that he sprang from the couch, throwing her down on the floor. His team was laughing hysterically as he was yelling at her and chasing her out of the house, swinging the Xbox controller like a madman. To this day, what few of his gaming buddies from those days had remained still poke fun at him over it. Anyway, that was story 1. On to story number 2. June 2017. Darling husband was still in med school at this point and suffered a torn ACL in his knee. He had been going to the gym regularly to stay in shape and live a healthy lifestyle, but the rigorous training caught up to him. When I got the call, I hauled my butt to the hospital still in my work clothes, was given the entire rundown of what I would need to do to aid him at home, maintain his appointments, administer his meds if needed, massage techniques to promote healing, etc. He was given 6 months to a year to fully recover from his injury, and it left him in a deep depression. He decided to give up med school. This was unpopular with a lot of his relatives, but it sent BB into a tailspin. Lovelies, she freaked, and I mean freaked. Imagine that meme of a woman who screamed "No" when Donald Trump was elected the first time. It was just like that.
How could you do this? You're ruining your future.
I can do something else. I don't want to become a doctor. You wanted that for me.
But OP put you up to this? It's her fault.
I swear this woman never misses a chance to demonize me. I went to hide out in the bathroom because my IBS was flaring up being near her. That was a fun 4 hours. Not. My husband was put on a limited schedule to make healing easier on him. He only had to go in twice a week and sit behind a desk in the dealership workshop. It kept his job, and I was taking on more shifts to offset our income. It left me physically exhausted, but it was only temporary until he could resume his regular schedule. Him getting healthy was what mattered. BB had decided that me being away from home to work and keep a roof over our heads was considered spousal abuse and neglect, and she believed that I had forced him to drop out of med school. After I had gotten home from work a few weeks into his recovery, I was shocked to see a moving van parked in my driveway. BB was trying to move her crap into my house. I had to park on the street because the van was taking up the entire driveway. I went into the house to find BB screaming at my husband, who was sitting on the couch looking defeated and like he wanted to disappear. I asked what was going on and why BB was in my bloody house.
I'm not going to let you ruin my baby boy's future. I'm moving in and you're leaving.
Excuse me?
That's right. I have the eviction notice right here.
Oh, this should be good. BB handed me a piece of paper that had the word eviction clearly printed on a simple piece of paper. There was no letterhead or formal notice. It was simply her words printed on paper that said I have to leave immediately or the police would be called to escort me out of her and my husband's home. I looked at my husband, who was on the verge of tears by this point. Torn ACL or not, he should have had the balls to stand up to her. I was exhausted and just wanted to take a shower and get some sleep, as I had work the next day, but I was forced to deal with this situation. I looked at BB, who was looking smug. I looked at my husband, who wouldn't make eye contact with me. You ever just decide to let someone hang themselves? Yeah, I called her bluff. I looked back at BB and smiled at her. She genuinely seemed unnerved by this, especially when I told her to call the police. She took out her phone and called them. The lie she spewed had me reeling. She said I was abusive, controlling, and I had purposely injured him to make him quit med school, that I was illegally in her house, and I was refusing to leave. I made it a point to grab a beer out of the fridge, to walk past her into my living room and sit down in a chair, put my feet on the coffee table, she hates this, and crack open that beer and take a sip. I took the TV remote and began flipping through the channels, just to be petty. When the police arrived, I said to BB that if she was going to move in, then she needs to make herself useful and open the door. I had a long day and wanted to put my feet up. Yeah, I was being extra bitchy, I don't care. She let the police in and guided them into the living room and pointed at me.
That's her. She's refusing to leave my house.
Ma'am, are you aware you're currently trespassing in this woman's home? I don't know how I can do that when her home is on the other side of town. This isn't her home, it's mine and my husband's home. I'm confused, this isn't your house?
It is. My son owns it and wants me to move in and take care of him. Baby, tell him I live here.
He didn't answer. BB looked annoyed and I laughed. You need to leave. So wait, who owns this house, you or him? Pointing at me. Officer, my husband and I are currently renting this house from our landlord. I can give you his number to call. BB does not live here. She is the one trespassing.
That isn't true. My son owns this house. He told me. Officer, make her leave now.
The officer ignores her and takes the phone number for my landlord and calls. After confirming that it was indeed mine and my husband's home, he came back. Okay, I spoke with the landlord to confirm that they are the current tenants and you are not on the lease. Unless they say you can stay, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. BB looked at me, then my husband. He looked away from her.
You better tell them.
Mom, please leave. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, BB. That's all I needed. Okay, Miss BB, it's time to go. BB went berserk. When the officer took her by the arm, she shoved him in the chest and she tried to walk out. The officer grabbed her and told her she was being arrested for assault on an officer. And she began shrieking that he was trying to SA her. She was screaming hysterically as he put her on the floor and put her in handcuffs. My husband and I watched as another officer stepped inside to assist and she was carried out. She was kicking and spitting at the cops and she screamed bloody murder. She got charged with resisting arrest and assault on an officer. She only spent a night in jail, got let out on bail after seeing the judge. She cancelled the moving van and they had to haul her stuff back to her house. She ended up going no contact with us until Thanksgiving, which again I wasn't invited to. 3. For context, I work in a store. Next to us is a grocery store that sells some of the same items as us, but not much. I'm trying to be vague for the job, but someone needs to appreciate this story. So, this older woman walks up to the back of our store, where we have offices and such, with a door to the outside that she's trying to enter that says employees only. My desk is by that door, so I ask what I can do for her. And she gets all angry because she bought a product in the store and thought it was supposed to be $9.99, but she was charged $12.99. I told her I couldn't process a refund for her, she'd have to go to the front. She said she hurt her foot really bad and couldn't walk that far. Okay, but she parked at the back of the store, so why not drive to the front and walk a shorter distance? And watching her walk to our door, she seemed fine, but okay. I told her I'll check the price to save her some time. Checked the computer, $12.99, she wasn't having that, so I walked into the actual store and put eyes on it. I thought maybe she just didn't have a discount account, which would exclude her from the special sale price. Nope. It's $12.99 for everyone. She picked it from a display where the same size of a different brand next to it was $9.99. I double-checked the display and the shelf, $12.99 for hers, $9.99 for the other one. Walked back to tell her what the mix-up probably was. She then complained that we're more expensive than the grocery store, so we should match that. I told her I have zero control over pricing, and she would in fact have to go back to the front for a refund. And I don't think we price match, honestly. Not entirely sure if that's accurate. I didn't ask the front manager today, because this 70-ish-year-old woman was legitimately whining at me, so I wasn't going to do anything more. I had originally offered to walk up to have the refund processed for her, while she waited in her car. But she was annoyed that I wouldn't just match the grocery store price immediately from my desk where I'm not equipped to do that. She was getting frustrated and snapping because she didn't want to walk all the way to the front. So eventually she just got annoyed with me and drove her car to the front to get her refund, as I told her would be easiest and fastest. As she was backing out, she yelled at me,
"Other brand isn't even as good."
Which, yeah, that's why it was only $9.99 for the same size. She also informed me that she would be going to the grocery store next to us to purchase at the correct price. 3 kickers from this interaction. 1, the front manager called me a bit later and let me know she had walked in and looked around a bit and had finally gotten taken care of. Walked to the wrong door and back out the correct exit just fine without limping or anything. 2, I was rushing to get this disaster over with and twisted my foot while price checking. The irony. Was mostly fine within a few minutes, but dang. 3, the irony's revenge. I realized a bit later that the grocery store next to us actually doesn't even sell what she wanted, because of their proximity to us and my company's contract with the company that owns the shopping center. I really, really hope she went in and limped through the whole store looking for that dang $9.99 product. 4. So I'm a student who decided to make some money. I bought a Steam Deck after that, during summer break. I decided to join Russian Railways, RZD, to work as a conductor in a long-distance train. The work was hard, but very interesting. At one moment, it was very strange. You see, there's actually no need to take bedsheets away. Conductors do it by themselves. But in reality, a lot of people usually take the bedsheets away by themselves and hand it over to the conductors. Some of them do that because they think they have to. Others just don't mind and do it themselves. No one complains, and if someone doesn't want to do it, no problem, I'll do it. So, this story. Half an hour before the train arrived at the station, I walked around the train car and warned people that we were almost at our destination. A teenager, about 15 years old, came up to me and asked, "So, should I take the bedsheets away?" "Oh, yes, of course." He didn't mind. He calmly began to collect the bedsheets. It wasn't difficult for him, and then his Karen of a mother appeared. "Hey, you! How could you force minor child to take off the sheets? Let me see your badge." She takes my badge. There's no surname on it, just a name. "Miss, maybe I should give you the complaint book," I answer. "Why, of course, yes, but we almost arrived. But don't worry, I'll write a complaint about you online. I'll remember everything." The teenager was quite silent during the conversation. After we finally arrived, I smiled at them. "Thank you for using the services of the Federal Passenger Company." The teenager nodded and said thank you, and the Karen didn't say anything. You see, I can understand that saying yes, of course, about taking the bedsheets away wasn't really right, but he didn't have to. But forcing a minor child? The hell? He didn't mind, and I could have collected them by myself if he said no. But judging by her reaction, there's something deeper behind her behavior, and I have no idea what. She's actually from another train car. So, this is the story of how I forced a child to take their bedsheets away. And yes, she didn't write a complaint online. 5. At this point, fresh out of school, I was approached by an old friend to get a place with him. We had previously roomed, and it was all good. We had a friend from school, a woman who was a good person, and recently her entire house became available, which meant there were 3 rooms to rent. I jumped at it because it was near my parents' house and not too far to commute from work. On the first day, my friend claimed the giant room upstairs, as the woman we were moving in with already had the main room downstairs. On that day, I put all my belongings into the room next to my friend's room on the top floor. I reasoned that I work nights, so I wanted to stay away from the main room. However, that day I was forced to work a double shift, meaning I went to work at 2 in the evening and didn't get out until 7 in the morning. As I went to my new home, too tired to see straight, I saw my things dumped in a pile on the 2nd floor. This was my first introduction to KF. She wasn't there at the time, but I was informed by the other roommates that she did not wish to be on a loud floor, so she moved my stuff. This was the foundation for all the interactions I had with her for the remainder of our time living together. Almost immediately after my level of the house was transformed into Party Central, not the quiet part of the house, after a month of asking people to keep it down to dispose of rotting giant feasts left to fester and constant partying, I told her off. This did not go well because I was dealing with a woman child who had never heard the term no, or been asked to do anything in her life. It's like you could see the upper New York privilege boil to the top of her head. It was at this point that the roommate terrorism started. What began as her lavishing the other roommates with dinners and going out without me turned into ugly tricks such as blasting music full tilt knowing I work nights, leaving garbage in front of my door, and turning up the partying full tilt. Now, here comes the Karen part. One day, in confidence, the male roommate decided to inform me that KF had come to him and the other roommate about kicking me out. When they asked on what grounds, she said, "He is a former gang member and I don't feel comfortable." She had also supplied some crocodile tears to go with this. Speak to anyone who has dealt with the Karens of the world and they will bring this up. A lie paired with the term uncomfortable and tears. Out of spite, this woman went this far to show her racism. But wait, how is this racism? Well, I never alluded to any gang activity or villainy. She used the term gang member for a black guy who wears urban gear. Makes sense, right? And this was after a few weeks back when a crew of fools from the projects came over for a deal to buy white. To end the story, KF didn't get me kicked out, but her shadow of deceit hung over the house until we were finally evicted because she decided to move out and didn't want to pay 4 months back rent. To her credit, she did eventually get us a decent housemate for a few months, but she had a dog, and KF never mentioned no dogs allowed, which led to the eviction. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Idiots in the Wild, episode 201. And thank you very much to everyone who allowed me to use their stories. Before you go, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. If you'd like to support the channel and get early access to all the videos all at once on the Monday, you can do that by signing up for my Patreon page. There is a link to that for you in the description. As little as $1 or more, if you would prefer a month, is very helpful and I appreciate it. There is also a link to my merchandise store on Teespring. Okay, that's all the business out of the way, so let's move on to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is, now that we're halfway through the year, do you find you've made any improvements near the start of the year, and have you stuck to them in order to improve your overall health and well-being? I can also say that yes, I have made some changes, and they are benefiting me and continue to do so, so I'm sticking with them. Wasn't quite near the start of the year. I did have some ice-related upright challenges in that I face-planted on some ice and injured myself, so it set me back a bit, but not permanently, and I'm back to it now. So I've been doing time every day on my treadmill. I'm working up to doing an hour every day. Right now I'm at 30 minutes, going to go to 35, probably starting Monday. And I find the more I go up, the quicker I increase the amount. So I'll probably add an hour in a few weeks. And I find that the exercise every day in conjunction with some other personal things that I'm doing that I won't go into right now are really, really helping my mental state. And it's helping me deal with the challenges that life will bring. And I'm feeling a lot more like myself than I have for quite some time. Not quite there yet, but well on my way. Hopefully to not only feeling like my old self, but being a better version of my old self, because, well, that beast was a work in progress. Let me know what you think in a comment below. Have you made any positive changes that you've stuck with? And before we go, let's take a look at the answer of the day from a previous video. This one came from Idiots in the Wild, and it was, do you make lists and do you stick to them? And today's answer came from, well, there were many answers, but this one comes from M. Lee. I can go both ways when planning a task. Oh, you're bitastual, I see. Interesting. Normally, each day I do make a bit of a to-do list and try to get as much done in a day that I can. But like all of us, there are tasks on the list I will push off until I'm like, okay, that looks too messy. I must take care of it today. Thank you very much for your answer, Emily. And with that, I'm going to head off for now, because it's one of those days where it's kind of warm and clammy, and I just want to vegetate on the sofa, playing Fallout with the fan on, sipping on something cool. So I'm going to do that once I finish work, which is probably a few hours away. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves and your to-do lists. Go on, you can do it.